Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you are doing well today. In this video, I would like to show you how we can actually use the UIStackView component, which is really powerful, so that we can actually make our layouts a lot easier to kind of conform to multiple device sizes. And the way I would like to show you how this works is through an example here of the podcast course that we're working on. So on the right side, we have the iPhone X simulator. In the middle, we have the iPhone 8 Plus. And then on the left side, we have the very small iPhone 8, right? Relative to the rest of these phones. And take a look at how tall the iPhone X really is. So inside of the middle section here, there's a wide or very tall gap of white space just because the iPhone X is so much taller. And in the iPhone 8 Plus, that gap has been reduced dramatically. And then on the iPhone 8, that little spacing over there is virtually non-existent. So laying out all this stuff using a vertical UI stack view is actually pretty easy because we can just put a lot of elements inside of this vertical orientation, and then the stack view will pretty much handle the layout for us, with us adding just a little bit of constraints to these views inside. All right, so laying this entire component out is actually not too easy, but let me kind of give you a much simpler example by taking a look at the Tinder profile screen right there, and let me tap over it over here as well, and then on the iPhone X. All right, so the way that this works is this top view right here has 6 image views. And the way I am laying out all this stuff so that it works across multiple screen sizes is this right side, we have a vertical stack view component, and there's 3 images in here, so 2, 3, and 6. And then on the bottom right here, 4 and 5, that's also a UI stack view component that is kind of laid out in a horizontal direction. And then we have a very large image on the top left. So that's kind of how this works, and I would like to show you how you can use the UI stack view to make your lives a lot easier and also to make your layouts and UI much prettier. So let's take a look at how to do that right now. Okay, so here we go. We have a brand new single view application inside of Xcode loaded up. I'm going to show you what I have inside of my assets, and right here I have about 6 images, and all these images pretty much represent what I have inside of my profile over here in these top 6 image views. And the way I'm going to illustrate how a UI stack view really works is to create a brand new zip file, which will allow me to use the visual editor inside of Xcode. So go ahead and hit new file like that and create an empty user interface file like this by double clicking on that. I'm going to call this header.zip. So just to kind of clarify, this top portion is the header of my UI collection view. And so inside of this interface builder file, how I'm going to actually illustrate how a UI stack view works is to first drag in something inside of my header. And I'm going to go down at the very bottom and type in UI collection and draw or drag and drop this view inside of my screen. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to actually drag this view around to expand the view's width and also the height. So let me go ahead and also drag in a UI stack view onto the right side. So type in UI stack view on the bottom, and I'm going to drag in a vertical stack view like that. And so this vertical stack view is going to represent these 3 images that I have on the right side. So number 2, 3, and 6. So you can drag this around and kind of expand it like that if you wanted to do so. And the way I'm going to actually do this is to pin it to the top, right, and maybe the bottom. So let me show you how to do that by going on the right side with 16 on the top. On the right, I'll have another 16. And then maybe on the bottom, I'll have a 16 as well. So let me just click on that and hit add these 3 constraints. Now the reason why you're seeing this red is because we haven't really determined the width of this guy. So you can also specify a width on the bottom like that with a width, and let me just specify 125. And so all those red lines will go away. And inside of the stack view, you can drag in some images very simply by typing in UI image and dragging this guy in there. Now this whole thing right here is your image view, and if you drag in this entire, or you drag around these little handles on the right side, you can resize your UI collection reusable view. And inside of here, I'm going to duplicate this guy to get 3 image views by holding on to the option and just dragging this guy, drag that in there, and doing that one more time. So you see you have 3 image views on the left side. So I'm going to click on the stack view, go into this tab over here. change the distribution to fill equally so that all three of my images look kind of like that, right? So we're getting a lot closer to what this looks like. And so let me go into this, and that, change the image to actually be Daenerys1, like so. And so that's how we get our images kind of showing up in our image views, and they are equally sized so that they all have the same height right now. And so you can also include a little bit of spacing between these three images very easily by going back to your stack view, clicking on here, and add some additional spacing like so. So I'm going to just use a value of maybe 16 to keep all this stuff uniform. And that's already looking a lot better. The next thing we want to do is to make sure the aspect ratio of these images are kind of 1:1. So let me hold on to Command and click on all three of these views. And you just want to make sure you change the content mode to aspect fill, and that'll make it look a lot better. And the problem with this right now is that the images are actually expanding across or outside of the bounds of your stack view. So let me click on all three images again and change this so that it clips to the bounds, and that's no longer expanding outside of my stack view. Okay, so that's how this guy really works. And what I actually want to do is to make sure that whenever I expand this, I don't exactly want these images to be that tall. So what's really going on is that we set our bottom constraint so that the stack view expands all the way to the bottom, and we don't really want that. Okay, so moving on here, let me show you how we can establish some kind of constraint so that these three views right here, here, and here actually have the same width and also the same height. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to actually remove the bottom constraint for my stack view. And the way I'm going to do this is to click on the stack view, click on the bottom right here, the align to bottom, and hit backspace. Okay, so the moment that you do that, your views kind of get screwed up, right? So I would like to show you how to fix that now by telling the image view right here to actually have the same width and same height. And the way you would do this is to hold on to the control key, drag this to the stack view like that, and just hit equal heights. Now, doing that alone really doesn't fix your views at all. As you can kind of see here, these views all have this really, really tall height. So what you want to do is to click on this over here and try to edit these particular properties on the right side. So the first thing I'm going to do is to make sure the height is actually pointing to the correct item. So Daenerys1.height is going to be equal to the super view's width. So the moment that you make that change, all of the height and width values are going to be 1:1, and that's kind of what you get. So you kind of see how easy it is, and UIStackView makes your job laying out UI view components really, really easy. Okay, so if you drag around this little header object, you can kind of see all of the views will be kind of pinned to the top and the right, and all of the images will have equal width and height. So let's move on to creating this bottom stack view for images 4 and 5. So let's go down here and let's see, what do we need? UI stack view, and drag in a horizontal stack view. Okay, so just drag it somewhere right here, I suppose. That should be okay. I'm going to pin this to the left and then to the right over here, and then the top of this image and the bottom of this image. So the way I'm going to do that is to first hit this bottom button and use the left side with 16. That's going to hit that left edge with 16, and for this I'm going to use 16 as well. So 16 like that, and add these two constraints, and that's where my stack view is currently landing. Now to pin this stack view over here, the bottom to this bottom, you hold on to control, click on this, and click on the image view that you actually want to anchor to. So you can hit the bottom like that, and that's kind of what you get, and just do that again for the top. And now your stack view is equal to the top and the bottom of this last image, and that's how I'm aligning 4 and 5 to 6 on the right side. All right, so next let's actually get in the image views for number 4 and 5. So I'm going to drag this by hitting Option, is that what it is? So Option, and try to drag this over here, and we get that image. So pretty good. You can do this one more time with drag that, and now you'll get two images inside of this horizontal stack view. And the reason why it's kind of showing just one is because you always have to change this property over here for your stack view to say distribution of fill equally, and that's how you get your two images to show up. All right, so good stuff there. And now what I want to do is to include some spacing on this horizontal stack view again. So let's hit a value of 16, and that's going to make a change just like that. All right, so now you can drag this guy around and all of your images will look a lot better. And the reason why this over here isn't going to be perfectly square, this horizontal stack view, is because you want to make sure that at least one of your views inside of your layout is going to stretch according to the dimension that's actually changing. And in our case, that dimension is the horizontal axis. So that means if our screen sizes gets wider depending on which phone we're using, this is going to make sure that one of these views will size accordingly. So that's kind of how UIStackViews work, and again, it's very, very powerful. So the last task here to complete is to include the top left image view, and this is just a very simple single UI image view component. So UI image view, you can use a new one or just drag in one of these with Option key, drag that and put that somewhere over here. So you can just align that right there. And the way I'm going to make this very, very large is to kind of anchor it on the left side over here, and the top is going to be up there, and then the right is going to be on this left edge, and then the bottom is going to be right over there. So I'm going to do that with this little thing down here. And let's see, I can just hit the top. No, I don't want to do that. I want to hit 16 for the left edge and then 16 for the right edge, and I should be okay. So on this, I might be able to do 16 as well to line it down there and just add that constraint. And then I'm going to control click that and use the top. And that's how we have a grid of 6 images that will size depending on how big your device is. And the reason, again, why I'm doing this in a zip file is because you have free form kind of access to modify the width and height of this UI collection reusable view, which is what you use for your collection views header. So that's kind of what we get if you minimize this side with this button down here. You can make this thing really, really large. So expand that all the way like that, and all these images will stay square, and the images to the left will just size appropriately. All right, so there's one final thing that I would like to show you how to do inside of this header view, and it's a bit of a trick so that you can actually fill up this entire header with all of your image views. So let me show you how to do that right now by making the width of these images to be proportional to the width, maybe give it 1/3 of the entire super view's width. All right, so I'm going to do this by first opening up this control over here, and let's shrink this down a little bit so that we can actually see it. So shrink it down like that. And now I'm going to click on my stack view, which holds these 3 images, and I'm going to remove the width of 125 by just hitting backspace like that. So backspace is going to remove your constraint, and now what you get is this entire view that holds all of your images like so. All right, so you can zoom out by hitting the minus button right there and play around with the width of this and kind of see what happens, right? So if it's really large, then the width seems to be okay, but if it's really thin like that, then this image over here, the width of that stack view is overpowering what's occurring on the left side. So the solution to this is to make it so that these images 2, 3, and 6 are 1/3 the width of the entire super view. And so this is kind of tricky to actually do inside of Interface Builder. So let me show you how to do that by first clicking onto Stack View right here, hold on to Control and drag it so that you try to link it back up to the entire super view and hit equal width like so. All right, so now you have this red box showing up, and that's not good. So you can open up this constraint over here, or it should be somewhere right here, so equal to. This is the same constraint as that, so you double click on this to edit it. So what you can do now is to make sure that this is actually the stack view, so that does not look correct. Let me see if I click on this stack view, double click on that, and now that is the correct constraint that I actually want to modify. So stack view's width is equal to the super view's width right now. And what I would like to do instead is to make the multiplier 1/3, so 1/3, and that'll modify it so that this entire stack view on the right side, the width of it is going to be 1/3 of the entire screen. So you can see 1/3 of it makes it so that the left side kind of looks a lot better. So make it really wide like so. The width of this guy is just 1/3 of the width. If you zoom out really far, you can actually stretch this guy out to be really, really large. And it's going to be really slow because now the entire header is gigantic. So let's shrink that back down to that and zoom in again. And now all of your images are going to fill up your header a lot more nicely. And this is kind of what you want to achieve with the UIStackView component. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today's very quick lesson on how to use UIStackView to achieve something that's kind of complicated, right? I do highly recommend that you play around with the actual component and the layout system with the stack view so that you can understand it better. And it's actually something that you should use in all of your layouts if possible. All right, so in the next episode, I want to actually teach you how to use this header.zip file so that you can construct your UI collection view and actually render out this header all the way at the very top. Now, if you're interested in learning about how to actually build out our podcast application, please check out the link down below in the description. It's going to offer you a demo of what our application will do in terms of audio playback. And the first episode is also free. I'll talk about how to develop a really complicated application one step at a time. All right, if you want to download today's project, make sure to find the link down below as well. That's going to be it for me today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.